Hail them.
Hailing frequencies open, sir.
Hailing frequencies. Open.
I don't know why I keep giving alien street food a chance. It's always such a gamble.
Captain, we're being hailed.
On screen.
Hello, and welcome to another Hailing Frequencies Open podcast, where we are trekking through the past and future of Star Trek. As always, I'm your host, Mike Jones, and joining me today, we have a slightly different panel. Joining me in the virtual studio, look who it is. Oh, hey, congrats on your brother winning an Oscar. It's Damien.
Oh, that's terrible. And not even written by Lanita. That is a Macaulay Culkin reference. And yes, I had that moment at a restaurant this weekend. And I thought when I turned like 12 that maybe I was old enough to shake that off, but no. Macaulay Culkin, wherever you are, stop following me. We're not friends.
In my defense, I was put on the spot to write that, and you had
were.
just told that story, and I was like, okay, well, this is low-hanging fruit. And we begged, we pleaded, and he agreed to sit in for Lanita as our co-host tonight. You know him from his wildly successful web series, 1701: A Blurred Story, and he should know by now that if he's sitting in Lanita's chair, he gets a rude introduction. So, if you slide into his DMs, you'd better slide back out and back in and back out and back in again. It's our friend and yours, Matt Jennings.
Leave me gaping.
He just took it to the next level up. We're not even 2 minutes in. All right.
Oh my God.
Oh. I'm starting to sweat.
Hello.
Hello.
Matt.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
joining
for
us. We're sorry
having
that
me.
Lanita couldn't be here tonight.
I know, gosh darn.
I know. But we found someone to be our guest today. So this person has seen every episode of Star Trek in existence, but somehow has never seen this movie that we're talking about. This person is a complete stranger, never seen her before, never met her. She's our guest, and we have to say nice things about our guest. So we'll leave a moment of silence right here and edit in something nice later.
I hate you all.
Friends, founders, and Ferengi, it's Lanita.
Oh, that was perfect. Oh my goodness.
She made that demand. She said, if I'm the guest instead of the co-host tonight.
Exactly.
It's all semantics.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So, Lanita, why are you our guest today?
Because as your intro stated, I have seen all of the series that have been in existence and have been produced of Star Trek. I am a completionist, so I started watching the movies, and then somehow I stopped at Star Trek 3 and took a pause, and now we're here having me watch them and then come regale the tales to all of you who have seen all of the rest of them. And you're getting fresh eyes on Star Trek 4, which, ooh, I have so much. I get so many jokes now.
You guys, this is like a great Trek experiment. Like I want to know if there is any fan out there with this particular like complete set of knowledge with that coincides with this particular gap. Like how you may be the best educated Trekkie to ever watch Star Trek 4 for the first time. Is that a safe assumption?
I mean, you got to ask the experts. I'm
I
going to
would
go with
think
yes.
so. Yeah, I would think the thing is Star Trek 4 is the most accessible and was so widely successful in the movie theater for a lot of reasons, but I think that a lot of people who aren't even Star Trek fans have seen it, and they call it the one with the whales, because that's the only one they've seen.
Which I get now.
Yeah, now you get that.
But
Well,
I get
you
all
get
the
that
other
it's a
jokes.
gateway movie. That so
Oh
many
my
people
God.
saw this movie and then went from there.
Well, it was like it's the perfect recipe of like you've got the movie that's kind of self-aware in terms of the genre and the reputation of what came before, because the characters, they're not making fun of themselves, but they're kind of laughing with the built-in audience, like, hey, wink wink, nudge nudge. And then you've got, you got the modern element of them being in 1984. So that's like your audience that doesn't know anything about Trek. And so, God, what's her name? Um, Jillian's kind of like that. She's like the audience member that doesn't know anything about Trek. Um, and you also have like a little bit of social commentary in there too,
Oh, yeah.
regarding talking about the whales and saving whales, and so it's got all the perfect pieces for a good movie. It's fun and educational.
Absolutely.
So I want to know, Lanita, since we always go into this, can you describe the circumstances under which you watched this movie?
The circumstances were that I downloaded it to my phone, as with everything else, and I watched it. I started watching it on the way home or going to work on Monday. And then I took a pause because, like, I want to focus. And then I finished it coming home, partly coming home on the train in my nice little quiet car, just in my phone. And then got home and got to sit. I sat so nicely in my bed, nice and cozy, and finished watching it and was just like, it was such, I was like, it was so satisfying. I was like, how did I not? The only in my head where I was like, oh, this looks familiar was just them in their clothing, because that is like a clip or a scene, like not a scene, but just like, a picture of what they were wearing. But
On the
I was
street,
like,
right?
on the street.
Yeah.
But like anything, I was like, how did I not? Why did I stop? I should have kept going. It, I enjoyed it so much. So much. So much. And the fact that, the dictator loves animals and whales. And like, we literally went to Liberty Science Center and they have an exhibit about blue whales and humpback whales, and have an entire skeleton and a heart. So like the scale of what they're talking about, I had just
Yeah.
recently like been next to in proximity to. So I'm like, yeah, 600 cubic tons of water. Yes. I have so many thoughts. I'm so excited for the next like movies, because I'm like, even though everyone says 5 is trash, I don't care. I'm excited to watch it.
Jump
I'm
in.
excited to watch 6. I'm excited to start, maybe to watch the new ones, but I only saw the first one, but that like that's where I am.
I like living vicariously through you.
Because you're
Watching
all
these
like
movies.
Yes.
because you're like, we've seen it time and time again. Yep, I can quote it. I'm like, it was so good.
I feel like when I watched this for the first time, Next Generation had not yet aired.
What
Did you
year
see
did
it in the
this?
movie theater?
Mm-mm.
1986.
See, I was
Oh yeah, it was
5.
like right
Yeah, so I feel like I had
before.
rented it on VHS. So
Yeah.
I feel like it must have been like had to be like the next year.
Yeah, I didn't see it in the theater either. I saw it later, probably on TV actually.
Oh.
Like when they air things on Sunday night or whatever.
Did they do it
Um,
in one clip, or did they do a what part 1 and part 2?
they did it all in one. Um, but some I don't think this one was one of them. But sometimes they would have like bonus scenes when they show it on TV, so it would be different. But they did that with the motion picture, but I don't think they did that with this one. So let's do a little background on the film to set the stage. So, Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, was successful,
It
directed
was.
by Leonard Nimoy, and so they.
Question, question. When did he start directing things in Star Trek? Were the movies the first
That
thing
was
he
it.
Yeah, it
directed?
was
Yeah.
3. 3 was
Yeah.
the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, and there's some of this is apocryphal, and you can get different answers, but he wanted to be done, and so he kind of wrote it into his contract that his character died in Star Trek 2.
Mm,
And I think even though they filmed that little out with him mind melding with McCoy,
mm-hmm.
um, him directing the next movie was a big carrot to get him to come back.
Okay.
Yeah, we think he maybe leveraged that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I mean, he was a very
I'm fine with it.
intelligent person.
I enjoy him as a director.
Yeah,
Continue.
He's very talented.
And Star Trek 3, they he says that he had he was being watched. He had like the training wheels were on, like they were he was a first-time director, and it did well enough that they gave him much more freedom to do for the way he wanted. Like hiring a different composer and having like completely original different music. It's different than any of the other films. But a couple things that I think factored into this film. First of all, time travel, super popular at the time, Back to the Future, so that was smart of them to do. And Save the Whales was an ecological message that was, very big at the time. So I think that kind of helped. Originally, Paramount wanted to put in one of their other giant stars at the time, Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
To do what?
In that version of the script, there were two characters. There was a scientist and
Axel Foley?
And
No, he was an English professor.
Yeah, he was like a professor. And they ended up when they decided that he shouldn't do it, that maybe that was not the right vehicle for him, then they took those characters and combined them into Dr. Gillian Taylor.
I think that was the smartest choice they could have made. No, like, let's be clear. Eddie Murphy stand here. Like,
yes.
Oh yeah, and he's a big Trekkie. Like he wanted to be in a Star Trek movie, but he didn't like what they wrote for him. He wanted to like be in the uniform. He wanted to like be on a bridge, you know.
I just think that I don't knowing his body of work, knowing who he is, like because I don't know that man, but I just don't see even like Eddie Murphy in Star Trek.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think especially at that time,
it would have been Eddie Murphy
in Eddie
Star
Murphy
Trek.
in them.
Like 48 Hours, like he was huge at that moment.
Huge. I don't think it was time
and
to
about
do
to
like
get bigger.
comedy.
Can you imagine how Shatner would have done in a movie with Eddie,
Oh my god.
It would have been a nightmare.
Yeah. It would have been tough.
It would not have been a fun set to be on, I think, with the egos, frankly. Another bit of script that did not make it into this film, that was originally in there. There was a moment before they leave the planet Vulcan where Kirk says to Saavik, "Have you told Spock?" And she says, "No, but I'm taking a maternity leave from Starfleet and staying on Vulcan." Implying that when in the last movie, when she had Ponfar sex with young Spock, she got pregnant. And they took that out of the movie because it doesn't have anything to do with the movie, I think, and it would have just opened a door that it doesn't close, you know. But years and years later, that has come back in the unification. That weird.
We see her with her son.
We see her with her son.
With Spock's son.
Oh God, what unification? It answers so many questions.
You're like, it didn't answer anything.
It didn't do anything that you all said. I was like, why the fuck am I watching? Anyway, I'm sorry. We're not gonna rehash that.
Yeah, I don't want to. No. Let's talk about something you enjoyed watching.
No, listen. I enjoy watching everything Star Trek, even if I can't stand it. I'm going to enjoy watching it because it's new perspective. It's something like I hadn't thought of. I'm like, oh, these people are on shrooms. When you were saying I had my brain like stopped working for a minute and didn't hear you say they took it out of the movie. I was like, did she say she was pregnant? Did she say it was like, oh no, that was taken. He said taken out of the movie.
Yeah. But it reads, I mean, it makes, even with that, here's my question actually, Mike. Did they shoot that scene?
I don't think it was shot, no.
Because she's left when the bird of prey leaves Vulcan, she's left kind of standing there with Spock's mother.
Right.
Yeah.
In a meaningful feeling kind of way.
Very much so.
Kind of fills
I
that
was like,
out.
why'd she get my question was, why'd she get left? See, when you take something out, you got to put something back in because I didn't understand why she was left in a Starfleet.
Never to be seen again. I mean, until
in like full uniform,
never
and they all just like
in
peace
that
out.
form.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they recast the role for the third movie after Kirstie Alley. Well, she says she was never really offered it, or no serious offer was made. But I think that they didn't offer her enough money. So then they brought in an unknown actor, who is, an absolute wonderful human being.
Lovely.
But I think that she was directed to be a little too stiff in the third film. And then I don't know that they wanted her or had anything for her to do if she had tagged along, if she was like in the bounty in the Klingon ship, like
Yeah.
I mean, they
No,
did. I mean, this might be jumping ahead a little too far, but they did plan to have her in Star Trek 6
Yes, yeah.
as
Yes.
something. I'm not going to
As
spoil
something,
it
yes.
for Lanita, but
Right.
then they decided, like, we don't think that works. I think that was a very smart choice to not
I
do
do
that
too.
with that
I do
character.
too. Yeah.
okay. It's
But
fine. She's out. I was like, and also I was like, it is the 80s because her hair, I
Girl.
know. I said,
Hair.
oh, perm. I said, oh, Jerry curl. I mean, it was perm because it wasn't juicy. And I was like,
Everybody had. I mean,
Yeah.
Uhura had a Jerry curl.
she did.
She
It
had
was not,
soul
but it was
glow,
not,
baby.
it wasn't glowing though. I needed a little more. I was like, where is the oil sheen? Why
Yes.
hasn't anybody sprayed that down? There's not, they're in the sun. There should be glistening. There should be just little dancing of light on that hair. And it's not. But it's okay. It's okay. Mama was killing the uniform looked good on her. The fit was fit.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike Jones.
Yeah, so do we want to just kind of start at the beginning of the film and hear your thoughts?
Yeah.
I'm like, I truly, in my head, I'm like, why? I'm pissed at well, I'm not because we get to do it this way. However, I'm like,
we paused you, to be clear. You would have continued. We said, no, we want to harness this moment.
Right.
The sheer
this is
joy
what we're
and
doing
elation.
right now.
I in retrospect, I was like, should I go back and watch 3 because it's been so long since I watched? But I said, you know what? No, we're gonna let 3, what is in my head of 3 remain. And it's not as if they did enough maybe exposition that you didn't need to really watch 3.
Yeah.
It helps because you understand why they're so invested in Spock, why they're like all the little nuanced jokes of what don't you remember? You used to call me Jim. Sorry, Admiral. Like those type of things where you get to see Spock again as a true Vulcan, not a Vulcan who has been living with humans and who has quote unquote accepted that he has a human mother in the way that we've seen him in the original series and in the previous movies. So it's like he's been reboot. It's like your computer, you had all your settings done and it learns you and it knows you and then you have to hard restart. It's like, fuck, factory settings. And then it's got to learn you again. So I feel like that's what we're watching. Him get factory reset and grow and figure it out again.
And the scene with how do you feel with his mother?
Yes.
Oh.
Is this
What I
the
was
first
about
that
to
we've
say.
seen her since the original series?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Jane
mean, him-
Wyatt, same actor.
I
Yes.
mean, him on those computers. I'm like, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, I like not knowing what is happening, and then being like, oh, okay, answer. I'm
Right.
like, okay, why don't I know these answers? Okay, that's an answer there. Okay, and he's doing like 17 things at the same time, clicking, and I'm like, fuck, you're smart. And then it's like, how do you feel? And it just keeps, and I'm like, oh, that's right, Vulcan.
Yeah.
You have feelings,
Right.
but they're down deep,
Yeah.
down
Well,
deep
and
in your belly.
I think that scene does a lot for explaining what's going on with him because his mother, Amanda, says the retraining of your mind has been in the Vulcan way. And that
Correct.
immediately it's like, oh, okay, so he's, that explains what's going on. But the computer knows you're half human. So it's like,
That's what I mean. The
it set it
computer
up.
knows.
That's what the movie is going to be, him figuring out how to be human.
But it's interesting because in that scene, right,
wonderful.
that the question, how do you feel, is so random and is so jarring when it happens to him and to the audience.
Yeah.
That you're like,
where the
oh,
fuck
this
does that
is
come from?
This is, well, the computer recognizes that he's half human, but doesn't really get it, right? It's like a weird, out of context kind of question that.
Yes, because it
It's
just
like
asked
the
him
Vulcan
about
computer doesn't understand humans either.
Yeah.
No.
Right. Oh,
It's
right.
just
Yeah.
it's another question in the bank of questions that I'm
Yeah.
supposed to ask. Like,
Right.
here's some human-y things. How do you feel?
Right.
And it's
How
just
do you
so
feel?
in term in terms of like the pacing, again, of how fast Spock is answering these questions
Yeah.
and the rhythm, the general rhythm of just how fast this is going, the very lack of emotion that comes with the way he's answering the questions. I love the just the break. Like, they really earn that pause of the how do you feel?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it's great for the audience too, because there's something else clearly happening there.
Yeah, and it's just echoing in the background.
Well, and
Just
can we also point out how fully upside down the Sarek family is? That Amanda is on Vulcan and that Sarek is on Earth.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's the Vulcan ambassador to the Federation, so he's like
Of course.
working.
Yeah, he has to be
yeah,
out.
but I mean, your son is back
Right.
after being in someone else's brain, and we've just shoved it back in him. And shouldn't you be there to help him? Like,
Well,
no,
they've
yeah,
always
fine.
had a strange relationship.
Right.
They have.
But he's what? He's back on Earth defending Kirk.
Yeah. Right. That's true. Right.
So, when I tell you, I was like, okay, Klingons, here we are. He did this and he did that.
Love that
and
Klingon ambassador.
We
Yes.
need justice. Mer, mer, mer. I was like, oh, he big mad. And everyone in the audience is like, no, because didn't you? And then hear from the distance, not true.
Sarah
Walks up and
He
just
knows
came
how to
in
make an
red.
entrance.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even see him, you just hear him. And
he probably
then,
planned it out too.
I'm telling you, he did. He was like, let me just stand
Planned
back
it.
here and wait.
He was
Let
around
me
the corner
listen.
waiting.
He said, oh, it sounds like, I feel like the veins are going to pop out of his head. Okay, now I can enter. And just reads down the list of like,
Oh, the receipts.
I mean,
Eric
Right.
came with receipts.
receipts. Like, now, didn't you also? And so didn't we? And couldn't that mean? And
Right.
pissed. Oh my God, it was so good. I enjoyed the courtroom scene. Also, we are, this happens before Next Gen
Yes.
Mhm.
Encounter at Farpoint,
Right.
judge and
Mhm.
jury situation.
Yes.
And like, by the time we get to Next Gen, this judge and jury thing is sort of gone. Like, it's different. Like, it's a different, like, because this seemed very big, like
This
like
is
a
the
grand
Federation
jury.
Council. This isn't
Okay.
like
Yeah.
this
Right.
isn't like a courtroom. This is
No.
like the guy at the front is the president of the Federation, right?
Right, got you. And everyone else is just what, like, representatives of all of the species who are part of the Federation?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Some
Okay.
species whose faces don't move. I noticed.
Yes.
Ooh, those masks. I was
Weird.
like,
And they're
weird.
just like, don't let
Especially
the
in the
camera
end.
sit long enough on those faces. Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God, like at the end where people are clapping, I was like, mask, pull over. Okay, you got prosthetics. They just painted you blue. I love seeing an Andorian. That made me very happy.
Uh-huh.
But go ahead.
Can we back up a second? I think we skipped something that
Of course we
I
did.
want to pause on. When we get to the 23rd century, in the beginning of the movie, this cigar-like probe is going through space,
Yeah.
and we see the USS Saratoga
Madge Sinclair.
and her captain.
Queen. I literally, and here's the thing, I paused it and turned it around and shoved it in the +1's face. I was like,
Yes.
and Kai's like, what? I'm like, look who it is. Queen. We were just
Yes.
talking about her because we were just
Uh-huh.
watching Mufasa, i.e. talking about
Yeah.
James Earl Jones,
Oh my
i.e.
God.
talking about how he is the voice of Darth Vader, i.e. nerddom versus like black royalty of King Joffrey Jafar.
Yes.
And then her, I was like,
And that's the first female captain that we see in Star Trek.
She's the first female captain or the first black female or both?
She's
female.
the first female captain. That's the
Stop it.
first time.
The final episode of the original series, not because it doesn't really have a wrap up, it's Turnabout Intruder, where there's a woman who is angry because women can't become captains, and she swaps bodies with Kirk so she can be captain. So, like, we've come a long way.
yeah.
I'm
Come a
Chris, that
long
was all
way.
retconned, but
Oh my God. And I love the fact that like you could full on hear her accent when like she's talking like certain words. I was like, yay. You like they did not try to say, we need you to have a quote unquote standard American accent. The woman is from the Caribbean or
Yes.
something like, oh,
Her
it's
name is
so,
Madge Sinclair, I think.
Yes,
mhm.
Madge
Oh, yes.
Sinclair.
Oh, stunning. She looked gorgeous. So I was like, yes. Go ahead, I'm
Instant
sorry.
instant
Instant.
gravitas. Like you know the severity of the situation is the
Correct.
way she is calmly reacting to
Correct.
it, you know?
Absolutely.
I just wish we had seen more of her in the Saratoga.
Now, are
wanted
we to believe that those ships were
Yes.
destroyed? Like they're
Absolute.
left to adrift and powerless, and that they sort of slowly lose power and die in space? Is that what happened?
I feel
They
like
don't
yes,
really. They sort of leave it a little.
They do.
They leave
loose.
But here's
ominous.
But here's the thing is that I think yes, because when jumping ahead, when they come back, they're right at the point where the window gets blown out
Yeah.
Sure.
in command, which is after I believe their ship is sort of like kaputso.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that they came back in enough time to save that ship who had alerted command of the imminent threat. Makes me sad.
I mean, the headcanon in me thinks if this were the Saratoga show, we would have seen their doctor come up with some put everyone in stasis, save their lives, solution.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in my mind,
That's what happened.
yeah,
Right.
that's what happened.
They're all in
They're
stasis.
fine.
Okay.
And worth pointing out that the Saratoga, a later generation of the Saratoga, was Cisco's ship that gets destroyed at Wolf 359.
Yeah.
Well, Saratoga's just not. They're not.
Yeah,
meant
no,
to
Saratogas don't
Saratoga-
end well.
Worst luck.
fly. Just who do we know who designed the alien probe that looked like a canister with a little ball being like tractor beamed along with it? Like it was just
Like a
interesting.
soccer ball floating
Yeah, it
under
looked. It was interesting. Like that was the microphone that is projecting the sound as this. It's like a warship, but not.
I don't know about the design, but I can tell you about the sound. The
Yeah.
the sound effect. Have you guys heard this story?
Nope.
No.
I haven't.
So, from what I've heard and from just watching the special features, there was a disagreement, I think, at one point between Leonard Nimoy and either the sound director or the composer. Maybe it's the sound director. But anyway, they were trying to get the sound right of the probe, and the person would keep coming up with new sounds, and Leonard was just like, it's not right, and so they were like in the recording booth, and so the sound designer was like, okay, well, you know what, why don't you tell me what it sounds like? And so he like turns the mic and he puts it up to Leonard Nimoy, and he says, Leonard's like, it's supposed to sound like this, wah, 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 wah. And if you listen to the sound of the probe, what they did is they took it and they warped it.
They will always do it.
So
They
that
Charlie
is Leonard
Poothed it.
Nimoy's voice that is making that noise.
That's amazing.
See? Charlie Puth taught us you can make any sound and many sounds from one sound. All you got to do is
Absolutely.
drop the pitch, speed it up. It's a very interesting sound because it's nothing that you really heard. And when you all said the one with the whales, I was like, well, yeah, that sounds like whales, but I didn't know that there were going to be whales. Like it just,
Yeah.
Right. There be whales here.
yeah.
That is actually, I think that's not what we're talking about right now, but Mike, that reference, that is my favorite moment of the movie, and that is probably my favorite Scotty moment ever. I had to rewind it, like watch it 3 times. I mean, I love that moment. It's just glee, it's just joy.
Yes, because he did it.
Yes.
He was like,
Right.
I convinced this. Pause. Okay, so many things. Oh my God, there's so many
many
things.
reasons to jump out of order here.
There really are, because the fact that Prime Directive, right? When they finally like, we're gonna go to Earth, mind you, the mathematics of slingshotting around the sun to go back in time. Okay, fine, I'm gonna go with it. We did that.
Yeah, they did that in the original series. So it's like, okay, we've established this works.
This works. When they're at the polymer plant. Okay, pause. I have so many thoughts.
Yeah.
The way that they break these teams up, who was on shrooms, because sending the black lady and the Russian to go look for nuclear
Right.
weapons, like, what the fuck are we doing?
It
Good
is
point.
the best. It is the best. Well, I mean, I think that's the point, is that they
I
don't
know.
get the
Yeah.
They don't.
get the
They wouldn't have thought
subtlety
of
of the
that.
culture or the history
Right.
or like
Nothing.
how any of them would be seen.
Nothing.
And that's the charm of it, is like there's this this
Innocence.
innocence. Yes.
Yeah.
There's this innocence to these guys that we know and love, and when they're in their own element, in their own century, they're on
Yes.
top of it, but they are out of their element, and they're going from their heart and what they know, and it is so charming.
They are
And the
swimming
nuclear
in the
vessels is the like standout joke of the movie, that like
It
it's
is.
what I remember about this movie. And
And
in
he
rewatching it, I
really-
mean, I haven't seen this movie probably in 20 years, that they do such a good job of like planting the seed, reminding you that that's how Chekhov says that word.
Yes.
Because that word appears at least like 4 or 5 times prior to that scene, so that when he's looking for nuclear vessels out in the street, it's like, and I think as a child watching that movie, I didn't understand why the cop was like looking at him blankly, because he's like, I literally just don't know how to process this moment. Is this really happening? Am I being punked? Like, what is happening? And also, I wonder now if people like, this is like an old man question, but like, do young people now get that joke that the Russian guy is looking for nuclear? Like, is that does that read to
This-
young people now? Do they understand that
the
joke?
Cold War and all of that.
Yes.
No, we
Yeah.
were closer to, even though we were far away from it, we were
We were
closer to
close.
it
Yeah.
than any, like, we're one step away from people like actually getting under their desks and being like, oh, that's
Yeah.
gonna save us
Right.
from this. It's not.
Right,
but
right.
Okay, it made you feel good. That made me, like, from the start, that made me laugh out loud. And so, excuse me. I was like, no one's talking to you. Like, you all look insane, number one. Number two, no one can understand him. He's got the thickest
Yes.
accent.
Bless
What
his
is
heart.
what is a vessel? What? And I got nervous. Like, my stomach got a little nervy, where I was like, is the cop gonna try to arrest him because he's
Right.
like, because he's nuclear, just nuclear.
Right, just the word, yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What is happening? And it, like, that went away, and then the girl was like, oh, it's in Alameda. And he's like,
That's what I said.
Right.
that's what I said.
That's what I said.
A fun story. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no,
No,
go.
go.
You go.
So like I'm pretty sure that some of those scenes that they filmed in the street were guerrilla filmed.
Yes.
So
I believe that.
the scene, like when they're all in San Francisco walking across the street, and the guy actually almost hits him. I think that was a real moment. I think that driver almost actually hit William Shatner. And so the guy says, watch where you're going, you dumbass. And William Shatner improvises the line, double dumbass on you.
So good.
And
So
then
good.
the nuclear vessels moment, I believe, was also guerrilla filmed. So the woman that answers back genuinely. I think Leonard, like whoever was watching the camera, they thought that she was an actress, because her response was so honest, but she was actually just a person walking across the street saying, oh, I don't know the answer to that, blah, blah, blah. And so when they found out that she wasn't an actress, they had to like chase her down. They're like, wait, you have to sign, like, you got to sign your form. You got to.
Well,
Oh,
the
my
version of the
goodness.
story that I heard was that similar. I mean, it's like so long ago. Who knows what's the truth?
Yeah.
But that they towed her car because she parked in like the filming zone,
Oh,
and and then she like ran up and was like, no, I'm here. And I guess they smoothed it over by letting her be in the movie, but she wasn't really supposed to say anything. Like, she just made up that it was very guerrilla. She just kind of made it
that's
up,
funny.
Well,
And it's funny because I literally
perfect.
just read, like, as I was like, cramming for this just now, I was like skimming the I have the 50-year voyage book, like the Mark Alton
yeah.
book,
Yeah.
right? And they had like a van, like a hidden van with a camera parked nearby, and they just like sent them off
I
and to
love
talk
it.
to strangers. Yeah.
I love it. It's perfect.
It makes,
It's like
but
Borat.
it makes the most, it makes the most sense in that instance that you would have that be the reaction. Because I don't know. I mean, yes, actors are great and you can, but it was really genuine looking at these people's faces like, what? get out, like I'm going somewhere.
Right.
Like if they
Yes.
did that in New York, yes, like
Oh yeah. Oh no.
that's just what it is. It was so perfect. Oh my God, the glasses in the pawn shop, $100. I'm like, oh, it is 1980 something. That kind of is a lot, but it's not, right?
Yeah.
Like it's still a
Right.
pawn shop. He's still getting over on you. And then there's all the money you got. And it's like, okay, $100. And each of you is getting what, 20, $25? Like, what are, oh my God. Okay. So where was I?
Spock's line, what does it mean, exact change?
Yeah.
We've got to find somewhere else. Yes, go ahead, James.
The actual time warp moment, right?
Oh okay. Mm-hmm.
Which
mm-hmm.
is that actually where we are in the sequence of this conversation, Mike Jones?
Sure.
Sure. Okay.
This is y'all. Listen, y'all know I'm gonna jump everywhere. You gotta keep me on track.
Which, by the way, I feel like is probably the weakest moment of the movie, is like this sort of like weird, trippy, right?
Yeah.
But because I kind of like I fell asleep watching the movie and recently I started late and it has been like kind of on a loop in my apartment for the past 3 days. I watched that scene having just watched the whole movie, and each character gets a line from like the what's about to happen in the movie. Like I hear Uhura say, "Admiral, I should never have left him behind," and it was like,
Yes.
oh, we're
Really?
getting like a
Yes.
little sound
When their
bite of a
heads- when their
thing that
heads-
is
when the-
about when their heads kind of morph into one another.
Yes.
It's like you get like that character's moment in the 20th century.
Can't wait to go back and watch
Oh
this again.
yeah. I literally just got chills.
I was like, oh, that's kind of
Because I'm not even, I'm just so focused on the like CGI, the like 80s CGI of the faces.
Right, but
that I
the
wasn't even
actual
listening.
audio
Pretty
of
cool.
it
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
like chatter, but you're like, oh, this is lines from the future of the movie, from all of the things that are about to happen in the 20th century.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's great.
it's great.
I do want to point out when they wake up, that George Takei, that makeup kind of heavy. The eyeliner is heavy within the hair and makeup. I needed them to dial it back because my man was it was too
Fierce.
much.
They
It was.
beat.
Yep, he's sitting there beating my face.
Listen.
I also love that when they wake up, they're all just like calmly sitting in their chairs. Like nobody's slumped over or anything.
No. Well, I think the G-force. Here's the thing: the G-force.
Oh, that's sure. Yeah.
Stuck
Push
them
them
back
back.
in their chair, so they're just like, oh, I can't move, and then you pass out and you wake up. That's kind of great.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. I don't know. Go ahead. I just you got to keep me
Okay.
on track. I don't. Where are we?
Let's jump to the polymer plant.
Polymer plant. Polymer plant.
One of the best scenes.
Number one, the fact that he figured out like you're supposed to have an appointment and they don't have you on the schedule, and him like Scotty leaning so far into to method acting. No, I'm not. You. How could? I was like. And having an accent also heightens the seriousness of it. Any foreign person coming to the States, like, you flew here. So that means that you spent money. Ooh, we're so sorry. How can we make this better? And then him testing him, being like, so if I had to do da 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 da, what is the ba da da da? And my man was like, oh yeah, 6 inches. And he's like, oh,
We carry that in stock.
Yeah, we've got that. He's like, well, what if I showed you that you could do it in 1? Mind you, prime directive. His answer, who knows? He could have invented it. What? Perfect. I was like, this is the perfect answer.
It's a temporal paradox. We've learned about this in Star Trek before. Come on.
Right. It
We
is.
have in
It
the
is.
the timey-wimey. It was,
The wibbly wobbly means it doesn't have to make sense.
I loved it so
buy it.
much. But here's the thing. It's like, what it's like when you go back in time, but you don't want to like not that you don't want to change something. I'm trying
Talking about butterfly effect.
yes, but not even just that. Like, so you remember have you all words seen Coming to America? I know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Have you
Paul
seen
Bates, my close personal friend, sings the song.
He does. He is our close personal friend. Did you see Trading Places?
Yes. Oh. Wait, are you sorry, keep going. I think I know
Yes,
what you're talking
no,
about.
yes. So the two gentlemen who make the bet,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? They are
Yes.
destitute at the end. They are the
Right.
same gentlemen who are what? Homeless
In
that he gives the money to.
Right.
yes.
So it's like, oh, this is how, like, in the reverse of it all, it's like, oh, ha, maybe they did, create this thing, and they really helped him become the prince of blah, 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 and it's all fine because they're all together, but they're apart and they made it, they didn't. So my thing is, I say all that to say that man invented that 1-inch polymer clear aluminum, and that is how he made his riches. And his name is stamped in a book somewhere if we go, like Cisco in the Bell Riots, when
Yep.
his
Right.
Yep.
picture is there. Who's to say that this man did not invent this thing before?
Now I
Who's
have a
to say?
question because
Mhm.
I've been thinking about this for a while. I showed this movie to my boyfriend last year. I showed him Star Trek 4 last year. And so we watched that scene, loved it obviously. But what was Madeline coming in to do? That's what I need to know. Cuz it's not now, Madeline.
Oh,
Not now, Madeline.
And it's like what Madeline, I don't know. Was
That's
she
just
like,
a
you know
scene
what?
from the Polymer movie. You know what I like?
Like, was she coming in to clock out? She's like, look, I need to clock out. Here's the files that you wanted. Here's the paperwork.
No,
Like
it
what
wasn't the end of
you
the day.
Does she have an HR complaint?
like what was
the-
she coming in to do? I want justice
And
for Madeline. I
Madeline
need to know.
nailed her tiptoe backwards out of the room.
She
Correct.
sure
Yes.
did.
She nailed it.
I want a whole episode. I want a whole movie based on Madeline.
I
I
mean,
need to know what Madeline came to do.
because here's the thing, think about it. If there are meetings with people, there may be a standing rule. If I'm in here for longer than X, rush in, pull me out.
Oh, sure, maybe.
And that's their standing thing. But in this instance, it was like, no, this isn't trash. Like, I need to be a part of this meeting. So, Madeline, I don't need you right now. Like when you tell your friend, I'm going on a date, call me with an emergency.
Right,
But you can
So-
ignore the number.
but-
Yeah.
That type of deal. But they don't have cell phones. So she had to walk in and then she had to get summarily dismissed.
Can I confess something that just rewatching this movie yesterday, I realized something that I had gotten wrong my whole life having. I thought in my mind, he gives them the formula for transparent aluminum, and then that's what they put in the ship for the
That's
whales.
what I thought too. Yeah.
But that's not what they do. He gives
No.
them
He-
the
he-
formula to pay for the 6-inch polymer that they keep in stock.
Correct.
Mhm.
This is the
Yes.
first time that I'm figuring that out just now.
Yeah, see?
It's
not
No,
just
I had
me.
that same moment where I was like, they don't have time to manufacture
Right, I was like,
this,
how did they make
invent
all
it,
that?
and manufacture it in 24 hours. No.
Because they don't remember he said this is all the money you have, which is like
Right.
$30, which is not
Right.
paying for a
No.
tank
Right,
the
right.
size of a football field.
Right.
The fact that they even had the time to construct a tank that big, and then they got
Well,
a helicopter to fly it and then put it into an invisible ship. Mind you, can we just talk about when the ship lands? It's been cloaked. Great, we're good. And those those collectors of refuse are like, do, just talking, I'm doing. And then that wind starts blowing, and they're like, oh, I didn't see anything. They truly didn't see anything. They're never mentioning that to
Oh.
anyone.
oh
They
no.
they took that to the grave.
Uh-huh.
They both took that to the grave. That is a well kept secret. He said, "Did you see that? No, neither
Nope.
did you. Shut up."
Whereas each and every one of the four of us were coming on the pod, you'd be like, bitches, you have no idea what the fuck I just saw. All this is real. Those were not
We
Trekkies.
were-
Those were not
those-
Trekkies.
No,
No,
not at
no.
all. But I do love the fact that in the time, what they had to use, the practical nature of using that garbage can
Mm.
with the lawn going down to show the scale of this bird.
Mhm.
Because yes, we saw it landed on a planet, but that's a planet that's vast and but this is like in a park, and to see the weight of the
It's a heavy ship.
it took the ground down about 8-9 inches and
Yeah.
crushed that just like a can. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, and
That was
also,
super awesome.
the helicopter that's going across the San Francisco skyline was a remote control miniature carrying.
I
Love
forgot
it.
about that. That's amazing. I wish there was a scene where, because we see Sulu like talking to the helicopter guy, but we
Yes.
don't see him actually steal the helicopter or somehow figure out how to get the helicopter. He just suddenly has it.
I think
Yeah.
he like schmoozes his way in. There's one scene that was cut out. I don't think that they filmed it, but where Sulu is supposed to meet one of his ancestors, and it's a kid.
Oh.
But I don't think that that was going to be.
Yeah, I feel like
part of
Sulu
him getting
got
the
a little
helicopter.
cut out of the
Yeah.
San Francisco stuff. Yeah.
Because when he said, "Oh, my whoever was born here," I'm like, okay, what are we doing with that information?
Yeah, they
Nothing.
set that up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Nothing.
the story I heard was the kid was terrible, and they just couldn't get the scene out of him.
Oh.
Oh.
Wow. They
Sad.
couldn't afford another kid. There goes your storyline. Too bad, so sad.
But I
Oh,
did hear that.
here's a random question. There were other people on the ship aside from our core group, correct?
No.
No, it was
Just
a
them.
skeleton crew.
Yeah, just them.
So then there's a way to like boop boop like caravan door the door to the ship, like because they all get off.
Yeah.
Everybody gets off.
I'm
then
sure,
it-
yeah.
And then it closes back up.
I'm sure the bird of prey has like a key fob.
I
Yeah.
just-
Right.
I'm not.
Everyone remember where we parked.
Yeah.
But yes, these are like practical questions I have,
Mhm.
where it's like, how'd you get back in? Because you
Yeah.
can't see it. I
Well,
doubt
and
it has a key.
And the transporter, like Spock is walking towards it. He doesn't indicate. He doesn't like whip out a communicator.
Is
He's
it
just
hooked
beaming.
on? I mean, is it hooked to their beepity boops that they put in their pockets? Yes,
don't
they're
know.
deltas. I know. I call it a
I
beepity boop.
I prefer BB boop. I think we need to retcon all of Trek and say, "Do you have your bibbity
Just
boop?"
nice.
Yes, sir, I do.
Bibbidi boop.
It's like that was why I was like, and because that pulls me. That's just like half of my brain, but the other person's like, that's so fucking cool. They can just walk away, it closes up, and then when they get to it by proximity, it knows based on something that they have on their person that the computer goes, hey, we're gonna open up, yada yada yada.
I mean, it had to be automated because now I'm just thinking about one key fob that they all had to like pass around and share.
No.
Like, throughout the crew, like who had Spock? Do you have it?
I left it in my other pants. Like,
Damn
it's
it!
terrible.
It's in my robe.
Okay, here's something that bugged me. Speaking about things that took me out of it, they're on this Klingon ship, fine, but they were using Klingon communicators and a Klingon phaser. Like, why didn't they have their own stuff that they brought with them in the last movie?
Did it all get blown up on the Enterprise?
No, because Kirk has a phaser when he makes that one Klingon get out of the captain's chair in the third movie.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was just an aesthetic choice. Like they were just like, oh, it would be cool to like really emphasize the fact that these guys are without any Federation tech. And
Oh,
I
I
think
like
also
That's a good point. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
drama
The only
Even
thing
more
they
out.
had, that's great. Make them
'Cause it-
more out of sync, out of time.
and it makes
That's-
that moment like at the very end where we see the Enterprise. It makes it all that much more rewarding because they're just without
Right. Yeah,
any
because
remnants
it's a
of
fish out of water story on
Enterprise.
every possible level.
Yes.
Mm.
Right.
That's my
Even
assumption.
their 23rd century tech is not their own.
Right.
Yeah.
You've mentioned it, and now we
good.
have to go there. I almost shed a tear.
It is.
I literally, because I did. What do I know? I don't know nothing. Like, yes, at the end is like, okay, I'm authorized to plead guilty, right? We show up, we're here. Here comes Spock out the stand, like, yep, these my people, I'm back. So we know he's got a little bit of his human back. And we're like, we're getting rid of everything except this one thing, which is failure to obey orders. And we're going to knock you back down to captain. And I was like, okay, that's fine. He didn't really like being an admiral. Like, you don't get to really do nothing.
Right.
And then it was like, and then to befitting your title, you get a ship. And I was like, but I thought, because why wouldn't I think this? Since it's a punishment, they're going to get a shitty ship.
That's what they all think.
Right.
I know. And then they walk. And the camera
also,
pans. And I'm
You
like,
don't know from an Enterprise. Did you know that there's an Enterprise A that they all get? Like, no.
No,
Why would
like-
you if you've not seen these movies?
This is
Right.
like, it's like for so many
I don't know
reasons.
nothing.
like it's one of my, like, if you go to my Instagram page, you'll see that like is one of my one of my posts. I said I watch this moment sometimes if I'm having a bad day because I need to pick me up. I genuinely do. Um, but also like you first, that's when you first see a ship with like a letter following it, like that gets established for the first time.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, like that's the first time we see a ship with a letter afterwards, and that, starts the Enterprise A, B, C, D, Um, I mean they had a design for another Enterprise. Um, and I saw this like a long time ago. There was a design for another Enterprise A. They did not go with that design, and they just went with a, with the same design from the refits. But I think the secondary canon is that that ship was the Yorktown, right?
Yeah.
And it was already built. But I was also thinking like, okay, so this ship has already been out there, and they're renaming it the Enterprise. So what happened to that captain? Were they like,
Too
you
bad,
know
so
what?
sad, buddy. You're not Kirk.
Like, so Kirk is taking over. Give him your
Correct.
car key.
Correct. You just leave all of the things on the desk.
Give him your
Thank you
badge.
so much.
It's been
You
great. Thank
your
you.
comm, your phaser. Thanks. Turn over that code. Yes. Signing out. Alpha 12357. Turning over
Send an
command.
email. We're deactivating the badge. Everything. Thank you.
Everything. It's. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not
I
explained.
I was in my bed cozy like
Yeah.
I was so elated because I was like, well, yeah, they did disobey, blah blah. I mean, did they? Sure.
Can you imagine like being in the movie theater with that moment when that
I would have
happened?
screamed. I would have
Yeah.
screamed like I screamed at the
Ah,
end of Avengers.
yes,
Okay,
exactly. That's exactly the kind of
to
moment that
your
it
left,
is.
and I literally saw that like on the
Ah,
reels today, and I was like, I
ah.
screamed. So that you said the end, so that's why I got excited about that.
Well, and if you think about it, it's like
Oh
fully
God,
resetting the
yes,
franchise in that moment,
You're
yes,
right?
right. You're
Because it's
absolutely
like
right.
because they don't if you go back to the first two movies with Kirk as an admiral, they've got to come up with some sort of story to get him on the bridge of the ship because
Right,
that's
yes,
not
right.
his place.
Yeah.
correct.
And obviously through to the third and fourth. So it's really not until spoiler Star Trek Five in the movies
hmm
that Captain Kirk starts off the movie as the captain of the Enterprise on an adventure.
Right,
Right.
I'm so
right.
excited. This is what I'm saying. I know everybody says it's shit. I'm so excited. They're back
It's
in
not. I mean,
force. Like
it's not a great movie, but it's
whatever,
got
whatever,
all
whatever.
sorts of stuff.
It
It
It's
has
is
some great pearls in there.
Listen,
it's
the
yes.
got
gang is all here. You ain't got to sell me. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna come back, and we're gonna do this again.
I mean, I gotta
Um,
say, sorry, go ahead. No, go,
yes,
go.
no, 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 go, Matt.
No, thank you. No, I gotta say, like, I think what is so great about this, I mean, it'll be great about the fifth movie, but also you get to see it here as well, and this is a testament to the casting directors way back when they were making the show in the '60s. Whoever cast William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, and DeForest Kelley, brilliant because their chemistry was consistent throughout the
Consistent.
series and the movies. There's a great scene, and it's so subtle, but I love it so much. When Spock and Kirk and Bones are trying to figure out where's this, what's the sound of this probe? Where's it coming from? What are we gonna do? And so, Spock and Kirk are already thinking, oh, well, you know what? It's an Earth of the past, and so Bones is like, wait, no, you said we can't find this anywhere but except in Earth of the past. So what? And then all of a sudden, Bones catches up and he goes to Kirk and is like, wait just a damn minute. And
Yep.
then Kirk's like, oh,
Yep.
start computing,
Right.
our math for time travel. The way they played that scene, it was seamless.
Because that's usually how it was. Like he would be just a half of a step behind, and then would be like, "We're not doing this. Like,
Oh yeah.
what are you like? We're not doing this." And they're like, "Oh, but I've already
Right.
got all the
We're already doing it.
computations. We're
Well,
Yeah.
already doing
and
it."
they're talking to the audience, right? They're saying,
Yeah.
Yes.
make sure that you're caught up. This is what we're planning to do. And just so we're clear, we're planning to do something that's fucking crazy.
Right.
We're
Exactly.
But
going to
if we
attempt
survive.
time
If
travel.
Oh, right. His message to the
I love Bones in this movie. I think that he's like his best cranky self, and I
Oh,
love
yeah.
that
Yes.
he is he makes this sort of like earnest attempt to communicate with Spock early on in the
Yes.
movie. It
Mm.
doesn't go
Didn't
well.
anything rub off? Like, didn't you take anything from being in my head the whole? I was like, no,
No.
I was in a box in there. Like,
Yeah.
none of your humans seeped in. I was locked in, nice and tight.
The
Because that's kind of how I
dialogue,
think about it.
I wonder because I thought maybe it was a jest at Bones, but when Bones and Spock are having that moment, and so Bones says to Spock, "You tell me that I have to die to get your insights on death." And there's just a quiet pause, and I was like, "Now, knowing Spock, was that shade?
Right.
Was that shade?"
It
I know,
was.
like he's getting his memory back, but did something
But
carry
then
over?
but then Spock sides with Bones
Yes.
when it comes to Chekhov.
Yeah.
Right, that's right.
Mm.
Hmm?
Okay,
So
go ahead. Where are we at? Sorry.
Okay,
We haven't even
let's.
talked.
I know we
My
haven't
face
even
hurts.
introduced our stars,
My
George and
face hurts.
Gracie.
Yes.
Who now I get it when we're in lower decks and there they are. That was them. And she's pregnant.
That's so
Okay,
great.
Leonard Nimoy, whoever wrote that this man was jumping in a tank to mind meld with some goddamn whales should get an Emmy, an Oscar, a SAG award. I don't know, but he is fully
And he mind melds, and it makes
Aquaman.
perfect sense.
Yeah,
It
Of course, because no one has ever said that you can't mind meld with an
right.
animal. We're mammals. Yes, he's a Vulcan, but we're mammals. So why
yeah.
wouldn't he be able to touch a sentient being and communicate?
Yeah.
That scene,
Makes total
The Horta.
sense.
it's so unhinged, and
It's
then like I remember because when I was a kid I didn't think too much about it, and then when I got older and I watched the movie I was like, wait a minute, but whales are incredible, like
you have
Right.
no idea how big they are.
their brains are huge, so it makes
Mother of the
total sense.
dictator.
Oh my god,
It
it was fascinating in a way where I was just like, okay, and just really cute was like, or that guy who's in there touching.
she deserves a Golden Globe,
The Golden Globe.
an Oscar,
Correct.
best supporting actress for that
Because
moment.
you know that it happened, but then that she doesn't know that it happened. You're just watching the people sort of listen to but then like
Maybe it's that man.
Yes. And William Shatner. And this is like I think one of those the first moments where I realized that William Shatner is actually really fucking hilarious.
really
Mm.
funny.
Yeah.
Like without saying anything, he's just like looking around and then he looks down at her. And like it without any words, the performance there,
Just passing
spot
through
on.
just trying to get through the people, and he just pops out. Spock's like, yep, put my robe back on. Boop, boop.
In his
Let's
Vulcan
go.
So
Speedo.
good. This Vulcan speedo.
It's
Oh
like he
my
was
God.
wearing Mormon underwear. I
Yeah.
was like, what is happening? What is happening? Oh, she's pregnant. How did the young lady who was doctor, and I know I just watched it, but I don't remember people's
Dr.
names.
Jillian Taylor, played
Yeah.
by Catherine
Mhm.
Hicks.
Seventh
From Seventh Heaven.
Heaven.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is before. Wait, but this was before Seventh
Before,
Heaven.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
way
well
before
before.
Seventh
Way,
Heaven.
way, way before. I was like, I was like, why do I know her? Thank you for saying that. I was like, ooh,
I would venture to say that she is the best 20th, 21st century character that we've ever seen in Star Trek,
oh,
which is a
was
very narrow field, but like,
Mhm.
no, but she was great, spot on of the time, knowing her place, quote unquote, as a woman in the field, being like told that she's emotional, you're too close. That's why we took him out last night. I would
Yeah.
punch that dude in his
Ooh.
dick, is what I
Yeah.
would have done. She was
Jillian.
better
like a
than
bitch
me.
slapped him.
Mm-hmm.
I was pissed. But I love the way she was written. I love the way she was acted. And in my head, again, I was thinking, prime directive, you're taking this lady. And the fact that she says, I don't have anyone, but that doesn't mean you won't have anyone, which means that your entire line that possibly could have happened no longer exists. So, again, butterfly effect, what is happening? But she doesn't care. She's decided she's going to be on a science vessel. I'll find you. Don't
Right.
worry about it. I was like, oh.
Yeah, she was like, she just jumped right in with both feet to the 23rd century, and
Yeah.
and Kirk is speechless because she's like, yeah, no,
I got a
found
lot of
myself
catching
here.
up to do.
I'm happy. Yeah,
She's
Peace.
like, she's like, I got my uniform. See this? This right here.
I love
I'm
the role
going.
reversal because it's so typical to see Kirk in that role of like
Yep.
having his hit it and quit it moment. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
gotta go to Rigel 3 or whatever.
I've got a place to be.
Yeah, and here she's like, well, you know what? Thank you for my ride.
Really
I'm gonna
appreciate
go.
it.
It's so good.
Thanks for saving the whales.
Thank you for
That
the
was
Uber.
that was great. I've tipped you. I'll see you when I see you.
It's been
What?
cute. Maybe slide in my DMs. I might slide in your DMs. I don't know.
Right.
But and then when I think about this, like the way that the female characters were written here, and then even in First Contact, they give it back. They give that captain attitude. They give it right back to him. They don't take it. I love that. Same thing with Lily in Star Trek First Contact. Ah, you haven't seen it. Oh, never
That don't mean
mind.
nothing to
Oh,
me.
she will. It's in the future. It's coming up. It's another one of these.
Yeah.
Whoop,
it'll
whoop.
happen.
Great.
So I have to say
Yes.
that from my life in touring entertainment, I know that there is a T-shirt shop in Des Moines, Iowa. I believe it's called Raygun. They sell excellent prints, and I was in there on tour in Des Moines, and I found a T-shirt that said, "No, I'm from Iowa. I only work in outer space."
Love it.
Which apparently has always been one of their top sellers at this T-shirt shop in Iowa, right?
Get out.
I immediately bought one that fit me in my little gay boy T-shirt with my body dysmorphia too small, right? And I was in the middle of I had a bunch of the tour friends who were like intervening, being like, "Your T-shirts are too tiny. You look weird." And
It's
so,
either
long story
small or
short,
it's a crop top.
yeah, no, it does. None of which works on me. T-shirt got regifted to my better half, and he has worn it, still wears it regularly, has never seen Star Trek 4, and it literally attributes the quote Captain Kirk, right? And did he not come into the movie during
in
that
that
scene
moment? I love
as
it.
that line? He's like, "What? What? It's my T-shirt."
Perfect.
Yes, honey, it's your T-shirt. My
I'm from Iowa. I only work in outer space.
Oh my gosh. So I
Yes.
mean, it's so good. Oh, it's
She's
so good.
she's an interesting character because she has no reason to talk to them when she's driving by and they're walking there. Like she
Except for the fact that she thinks that they're utterly batshit and like curiosity. It's morbid
It's
curiosity.
curiosity.
Yeah.
Like they were two. Here's the thing. She studies whales, right? Like she is a foremost expert on whales and biology. Da, da, da. And these two randos that do not look like they fit, no matter, they could have changed their clothes. They would have looked like Akeem in Coming to America when they put all that New York, you go into the shop and you're, I love New York, Knicks hat. Like that's what they look like in their uniforms. And they're being very specific in their questions. The way that they're talking to her makes her be like, there's something else. Mind you, the man just got out of a tank with the whales. So she's already like, y'all are on some weird shit.
Yeah.
I need to know more. I'm out of my job. Like at my job, I have to be, and Gracie, and whales, and this is how big they are, and they hunt them, and ba ba da da da. Outside, you're like, what the fuck's y'all deal?
Well, and she could probably sense, obviously, that they have intentions towards the whale. There is something there, but
Yes.
that they don't mean harm, and then they're not
Yeah.
malicious, and that
No.
they are something doesn't add up.
And she needs to figure it out because she's a scientist, and
Yeah.
she's like, haha, I got all this data. I've got to suss out what it means.
And I gotta say that there's gotta be. I always thought, because I always tried to figure that out too. I'm like, why does she mess with him? Like, I don't get it. But I also, there's got to be like an element of desperation here. Like she's at the end of her rope, very like coming up
Oh,
very soon.
that's
like,
good.
you know,
Yeah.
Right,
She
and
knows
you
that they're
don't
going to
we don't know that as the
taken
audience.
away.
If we're seeing it for the first time, we don't know that the whales are being taken away. She
right,
knows
right.
that,
Yeah.
but
She
we do
knows
not.
this. So there's got to be this desperation of like, I need something, because I don't
Something.
know, like I can see if the things didn't work out with the crew of the Enterprise and breaking the whales out, I could see her like low key trying to do it herself.
She's PETA.
Oh,
She would PETA those
Yes,
whales.
I could
Like,
see it.
Greenpeace.
I could see her doing it.
Mhm.
absolutely. But she didn't have the means, so she would like it. Just, I'm telling you, that dude was a douche. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
such a douche.
I would have
Mhm.
destroyed his life. And really the other, it it was also very interesting how quickly she just was like, cool. Like, okay. When, he lays it out like, we're going to take them to the future and they're going to repopulate because this probe is killing. And she was like, they're going to be safe? He's like, yeah. She's like,
Right.
all right, let's go. What do I got to
Okay.
do? Like, that was all she needed to know, is that these two blue whales would live. Because when she said, I have a photo, I see words. He said,
hmm
they were extinct. Like, damn it.
Past
Because
tense.
past tense. And that's another, like, it
But
was
yeah,
all in her craw.
once she's on board, she's on board. She's willing to imitate a
Well,
doctor and break into a
yes,
hospital.
that
Like,
was amazing. The fact that she's like one of the crew right then, like
right.
She
Yeah.
said, oh, this is what we're doing. This is what we're
Let's
doing.
do it.
and she's moaning with cramps on the stretcher and the
Right.
That scene is it's gold. It's
wild.
comedic
It is.
gold.
well, and
The
talk about
music
like
is so
scorn
great.
for the medical industry in the 20th century, by the way. Like every single person in that hospital who is a doctor or a nurse or what have you is
A butcher.
a butcher and is yes, and is totally self-involved and doesn't care about the patients and yeah.
And
Well-
Bones
Some of the
like
best
being
McCoy stuff. Yeah.
yes. No,
Oh.
go ahead, Mike.
Like drilling holes in his head isn't the answer.
Yes. Oh, so
It
good,
actually-
McCoy. And
it
also,
was
can
back
I
in the day.
remind you guys?
Yes.
I'm just reminding Mike Jones, because I don't think Lanita, you were there for it at Trek, New Jersey, or Trek Sea Caucus. In the cosplay contest, there was an old lady in a wheelchair, and she had a sign that said, "The doctor gave me a pill, and I grew a new kidney."
Yes.
It's like the best costume.
she just get wheeled around. She was like, ah.
Love
Oh,
it.
So good.
and I would have never, and I'd been like, oh, that's cute. And you're
Like,
like, you don't get
weird.
it yet. You don't get it
Get
yet.
there.
And
You'll get there.
and now I get it. Like, because here's the thing, they're from a time where they're waving wands and using little pens to, like, hell, Picard is all bionic in a suit of a skin of a thing, and
Well, yeah, it would be like going back to, like the 17th century and they're putting
Yeah.
leeches on people and
Yeah.
bleeding
To
people.
bleed
So the
them.
bad blood,
Yes.
like, we'd be like, what are you doing? You're literally killing this person.
correct.
Bones line. We're dealing with medievalism here. So good.
He was disgusted.
Can
He
I
was horrified.
can I
Yes,
go
Bob.
back to the truck scene with Kirk and Spock in the truck?
yeah.
And
Mhm.
and Spock is the hell she did, the hell I didn't. All of this, right? So this is 1986, right?
Yes.
This is pre Next Generation.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
This all of these jokes could be data.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
That is true.
Spock in this movie, most of the Spock jokes in this movie could have been data in the
Yes.
same. You're like, you watch this and you're like, oh God, this had to be in somebody's brain when they were inventing him, because this particular Spock is so close to what we started getting as data.
It's I mean, and like even the movie, it came out in '86. So next year we got the
Right.
next gen.
It makes sense.
The
Learning how to be
innocent
human.
and the
Yeah.
innocence.
But I also love that Kirk doesn't really know how to curse either. Like, he's not as bad as Spock, but double dumbass on you is like
Right.
is so good, but it's like not quite
It's
right.
like a kid saying ass butt.
Yeah.
Like,
It doesn't mean what you
and they
think
think
it
that they're
means,
really
baby.
cool. Like, ooh, ass
No.
butt. Like,
No, baby. You just said ass twice.
butt ass motherfucker. I'm like, what a butt ass.
it's
That's good though. I'm just saying. I like
It's
that one.
he knows just enough to kind of not get it right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like oh, I think he did too much LDS in the 60s, you know.
Right.
LSD. Like I know I was like
Right.
LDS.
Right.
We're Latter-day
The Latter-day
Saints.
Saints, right?
And
Oh my
Spock gets it down like by the end of the movie,
Mhm.
because Spock is like responding, he's trying to use colorful metaphors, and then Kirk, they're trying to get the bird of prey up and running, and so Kirk has, what is that to? He says to Spock, where the hell's the power transfer? And Spock's like, 1 damn minute, Admiral.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Kirk like
Yeah.
looked back like,
Huh.
oh, but
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right.
But,
Yep.
yeah.
It worked.
That's fun.
Good.
It
That's good.
worked.
Can we talk about the other Enterprise that we see in this movie? The
Oh,
aircraft
naval
carrier
yeah.
scene. So behind the scenes, it
Oh,
was not actually the Enterprise. It was a different aircraft carrier that was birthed at where they were filming. But it is kind of cool that they were like, here's a chance for us to take this real world, vessel that is, I think, the second generation of the vessel that was used, that inspired the name of the ship. But when one thing that took me out of it
Mhm.
when Chekhov is being interrogated, I don't know if it was a tactic he was taking or if he was just really stupid all of a sudden.
Mm.
I was trying to figure that out too. It never quite. I I guess I always kind of thought of it as when I got older, maybe it was a tactic because he does still have some awareness that he's got to be quiet about his
What
intentions.
they're
Yeah.
Right.
doing.
He can't it's funny because he's like, I am from the United Federation of Planets, right? But then you're
Right.
like, how you can say
It's like,
that,
that
but
means
you
nothing.
can't actually give enough information to prove what you're saying is true because then you're contaminating the timeline.
Right.
But also you're just talking gibberish. Like you just think that he's
Right, like he's not gonna
crazy.
get
But
it.
also, like, literally every question that came to him was some sort of 20th century idiom,
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Take it
Yeah.
from the top.
With the top
And
of
then
what?
he was
Yeah.
right at the top of what? And then he's like, I forget what he said, where he was like, I'm free to go? What? Like, because
You play games with you, mister, and you're through.
We're through.
I'm
I can
through,
go.
so I can
Right.
go?
Can I
Yes,
go?
thank you. Thank you.
It's part of that, like Star Trek has always been written with this slightly heightened language that's
Right.
supposed to
Right.
be, futuristic. That's why, on top of the censorship, that's why they don't cuss and they don't have that kind of casual language. And it's something that newer Trek has moved away from that stilted language more.
Mm.
But yeah, I like the idea that again, if we were to travel back in time 200 years, we would not be able to just easily begin communicating.
Right. It's true.
Mike Jones.
Mhm.
If we traveled back in time 200 years, be very different experiences, sir.
That's true.
Just want to point that out.
That
okay?
is true.
Yeah,
Yes.
geez.
Okay. Just. And for all you listeners out there who are not watching the visual version, that is because I am black and Mike is white. And 200 years ago, I would have been in a field. Thank you very much.
And I also would have been in the field too.
Yes. Matt out the field.
We would have been cutting it. We would have been cutting up though.
Yeah, the problem is I wouldn't have lasted. No, because nope, rebellion. It'd have been a problem. They'd have made me an example. Don't be like her.
Where's Lanita?
Oh,
Oh, she
God.
didn't make it.
She didn't make it.
The assassin.
It's true.
Oh my gosh.
Random. I had a thought about. So they needed, because I've only watched it once. So they needed what from the nuclear vessel? They needed something to re-energize the burnt out shell of a thing that happened when they went around the sun.
Yes.
So they were using that little sucker to suck that stuff out of wherever to
Right.
then go back up. What were they sucking?
Nuclear power.
Ion particles or something. There was some technobabble.
Yes.
MacGuffins
Okay.
from the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Great. No, that's fine.
That they
I just
needed
was-
to charge the dilithium crystals.
'Cause
Those, shitty Klingon dilithium crystals.
Because watching them just sit by a wall with a look like a tricorder as it's like sucking out whatever, and
Mhm.
then all of a sudden she gets beamed out. And again, why couldn't you find him? Everybody had their little boobity boops in their pockets or wherever.
Uh,
Like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah, just
what is
it moves
happening?
the plot along.
Fair enough. I know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
I know. I should
moments
just
like
go
that, I'm
with
like,
it.
yeah, we're trying to.
Yeah, because you could
And,
have
and
taken them
and
both.
actually, for a sort of like high concept Star Trek story, this
Mhm.
was not very MacGuffin based. It was actually a
No.
pretty simple story, right? It's like
Yeah.
aliens were communicating with whales. Whales went
Yes.
extinct. They came looking for their friends, not knowing that the looker that they sent was destructive.
Yeah.
And so they find the whales. The whales talk back. I mean, it's actually a fairly simple in terms of like sci-fi
Did
setup, which is why I
yeah.
think it works better because this is an easy comparison. Forgive me for doing this, but to season 2 of Star Trek Picard, right? They go back
Oh,
in the
Mm,
past
Oh.
to
mhm.
like solve a
Mm,
world-ending thing in the future,
Right.
and
yeah.
it is very much a callback to that. This
It
I
is.
feel like we can. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn saying this is much more successful than that
Yeah.
was.
I
Well,
We
it's
yeah,
established that.
they even have the punk on the bus. I mean, they recreate
yeah.
that
The
scene
punk on
with
the
the
bus
same
Yes.
was
Thank
actor.
you.
Nimoy's
Thank you.
assistant, right? And
Yes.
the song is not a real song. It was like written by people on the crew.
That's amazing.
Okay, here's the thing. That thank you. That's what I was thinking about. Where he was like, turn it down, blah 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 blah. And then I turned my head for 2 seconds, like to like look out the window because that's what you do to make sure I don't miss my stop. Because mind you, I have done that
Oh,
before where I'm too far into something and the next stop after the stop is such a weird place that it's bad for me. So, and I turned back, I'm like, oh, he's passed out and everybody's clapping. I wonder what happened. Then I looked and I was like, oh,
Yeah, you gotta rewind that and watch again.
I was like, oh my man, and you're down. So it's
Yeah.
very interesting. But honestly, that is actually what happens on trains and buses where someone's playing. You're like, dude, can you like, please? Like, nobody wants to hear this right
And
now.
one person
Well,
has had enough and has had a bad
yes.
day, and it's
Had
like,
right.
I've had it
enough.
up to here with crazy people screaming on the train.
Yes.
Well, and
And
it's such
then
a
we're all
80s
stopped.
thing to like, the like boombox, the
Boombox.
ghetto
Yeah.
blaster like on your shoulder thing. Like, it doesn't happen as often, I think, nowadays because everyone's
Oh,
in their
Have you?
devices.
No, no,
Well,
no,
no,
no.
people
Really?
buy speakers to do that now.
Are you
Yes. And
Yes.
they just,
serious?
Oh my God.
yes, they
Yes.
I
just
mean,
carry like a little
Like a
speaker, like
Bluetooth
a,
speaker?
yes.
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 I
This is why I
experience
don't
it
want to
at
live in
the
New York.
gym a lot.
The gym?
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
at
fuck
the
that.
gym. This
No,
guy,
no.
like it's in like two separate gyms that I'll go to. There'll be a guy that like brings his Bluetooth speaker and he'll just set it up while he's working
Oh,
out.
Not
And I'm
no.
like,
Uh-uh.
sir, why? But
One,
hell
low-key,
the
like
no.
gym has music. Two,
sometimes
put in
like
your earbuds. Yeah,
yeah.
you like
Yes.
the music, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like the playlist, I'm like, you know what, that's actually a bop. But,
Okay. I have to say, I'm one of the only people in my gym that does not work out with earbuds. I just listen to the room music. And this woman who I see like every day there, who I'm friendly with, one day she's like, "You don't have earbuds. Are you just raw dog in the room music?"
that's when you tell her that you
Yes,
are
I
on
am.
prep.
I'm on prep. I am I'm raw dogging
It's
everything that
safe.
I'm fond of. So yes,
Oh my God.
raw dog in the room music.
Oh my
That is
God.
perfection.
Uh-huh.
I'm putting that in my notebook.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That is perfect. Um, what questions y'all have? I don't know. I am thoroughly impressed. I am so happy with this movie.
Is this your favorite Star Trek movie thus far?
It's the most fresh in my mind,
Mhm.
and the actual nostalgia from the 80s, even though I was a child in the 80s, but the 80s is very close and near and dear
Yeah.
to me, like
Yeah.
being an 80s baby. I kind of love it. I kind of love that every character got their moment, a moment. Maybe not their moment, but every character got a moment to shine
Mhm.
in pairs and also solo. We we saw the gangs all here come together for a common cause to save like
Hmm.
the fucking world. Not just like, oh, we're saving the universe here, people. We're saving the universe. Um but I do like the Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Of
That's
course.
that.
It's almost apples and oranges.
Yeah,
it, it
it is.
it is,
It is.
but it's all fruit. As sorry.
It's like
Oh.
sorry, go ahead.
I here's a hypothesis that I'm going to put
Mm,
forth that you all can tear down if you like. And I don't know that I agree with this. I'm just hot take.
hot take.
That this movie ruined Star Trek movies
Mm,
because this
Oh.
movie is the unicorn that could bring Star Trek to a wide audience
mm.
and give mass appeal and give Star Trek at the same time.
Mm.
And they have been foolhardily trying to do that ever since and have never quite done it.
You know what? I think it's a couple of things are that are factor in. I think at that point in time in movie making, it wasn't as business based. I'm gonna dare to say, like it's still always very business based. Like movies got to make money. We got to appeal to this audience. Da da da. But now it's really just about making money.
Yeah.
No one's really willing to try anything new.
It's true.
Um, and in terms of Trek itself, I love you, Star Trek. And I will say at the same time that I think I think we're playing it safe in certain ways.
Mm.
And we're not taking the chances that we used to in terms of storytelling. Like I think that it is very possible to make a movie that is entertaining, that can be thought provoking, and even if it's a franchise, you can access an audience. You can do it. You just have to let the franchise and the creators do what they do. And you have to let Star Trek do what it does. And Star Trek is really at its best, in my opinion, when it's accessible to
Mm.
people, not when it's trying to, and I don't want to like drag any movies, but like Into Darkness, was a rehash of the Wrath of Khan, in my opinion, and you're trying to recreate something. Nemesis, we had a lot of scenes that were cut from that movie that would have made that movie that much better.
Mm.
Um, am I making any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that expanding on that thought that this movie might have ruined future movies. Um, Two thoughts. One, I think that this could be to blame for us getting Section 31 because they they took this, like what's popular? It's 1985.
Mm.
We're making a movie. What's popular? Oh, right. Time travel's really big.
Mm.
These comedy, like Paramount's having a lot of success with these comedy movies. Like, and what's really big right now? Like, oh, Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy,
Sure.
these like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of mentality, I think, is possibly you could possibly point at this movie as starting that trend. But I would also argue that Star Trek 2 ruined Star Trek movies moving forward because it didn't ruin this one, but every other Star Trek movie has a villain that we are
Mm.
opposed to. This movie is the villain is us. Like we
Mm-hmm.
humans of the past messed up and killed all
Yep.
the whales and now we need them.
Yep.
So it's an ecological message. um Star Trek the Motion Picture also does not have that kind of antagonist. I mean, V'ger is not evil. V'ger is like just on a search for understanding and, and trying to meet its maker. Um, but the other Star Trek films, five, maybe not, but the other Star Trek films have, there's a bad guy. Like, oh, Khan
Yeah.
worked. Let's do that again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing that I can say about this movie that I was just sort of like, "Ugh," was the fact that the whales came back, they sang their song, The ball went into the hole and it went away.
Bye.
Where was the universal translator to tell me what the fuck that thing was saying, what the goddamn whale said back, and why it just it just wanted to check on the whales? It just
Right.
wanted to say, hey, you're still there. That was the only thing. I get it. It was to get us to go get the whales.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Because I enjoyed everything in between. But it was
I'm-
what'd they say?
I always
If-
thought that maybe. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, if Spock had got to mind meld with Gracie again to say like, "Hey, what just happened?"
Why couldn't that happen?
That would have been nice.
It would have. We knew she was pregnant. Okay, great. But also, 2 whales does not an entire species make, because you can't have that. Yes, it's not like humans, but still in genetic matching. It's not like incest in that way, but you need other diversity in the genetic material to make sure that the species survives. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Matt?
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I think that maybe the not knowing was maybe part of the mystery of it all.
Yeah, we love a mystery.
Well,
Or it
that
could
it's
have been
not meant
like-
for us. That it is that
Yeah.
that this alien has a relationship with something on Earth that's not us.
Yeah.
Huh.
Also, by the way, if they do that, they end the movie on like exposition,
Yeah, that's true.
right? Because
True.
when you think about it, think about that. I mean, what I did not necessarily remember clearly from watching this so many years ago is that moment of joy when they're like clinging on to that Klingon ship that might be sinking, and they see the whales swimming around them, and they can't believe they did it, and they're all sort of like wet and falling in the ocean, and they're like that, and to see those characters, like Spock is even kind of smiling, and they're all splashing. I mean, it just is like so fun and happy.
And it makes sense, like when I look at the way that the movie ends, and even with why they reveal the Enterprise A is so emotional, is because if you really think about it, in Star Trek's 2 and 3, they've been through so much. Like they've lost their best friend, they've lost the Enterprise, stolen the Enterprise, probably going to get fired from their jobs. They've been through so much that in this moment they get to have this release and just say, "Fuck it."
Yeah.
Mm.
This is a long time coming.
It's
Yeah.
This is 3 movies worth of like happy
just
ending.
stress
Yeah.
and like we need a happy, we need this. And
I
so
like
I think
the happy. I
it was
really like the
necessary.
happy. And you know what? I will take it wasn't meant for us, because some things are not meant for you. And that is a motto I live by. I don't wear shoes that don't fit. So guess what? Gracie, thank you for talking to the probe and sending it back on its way.
It
I think
could
it
have
was
been
actually
like recipe
George,
for
but yes.
potato
Oh, was
salad.
George?
I think it
Oh,
was
Right, because
George.
the male
course.
sings.
Oh, the
Yeah,
male
that is-
sings.
the-
Oh.
it
Just
does.
saying. Just
It
saying. I mean,
does. It does sing, and then there's response.
not trying to mansplain, but the man sings, to be clear.
Yeah.
And the songs change every year. They say that like
Yeah,
it's
it
and we
changes.
still don't really understand them. That's fascinating. Whale science, marine
it's
biology.
fascinating. Like the sea is, yeah, we know we haven't
Terrifying.
explored space, but the sea,
Hey,
I'm good on it. I'm good on it.
I do not need to meet those like deep sea monsters.
have you guys
don't-
seen The
they're not-
Abyss?
No.
Yeah.
No,
You
I
haven't seen
actually-
The Abyss?
I had enough trouble actually watching the scene where Kirk is like swimming down into the like enclosed underwater space. Like that
Yeah.
is the underwater claustrophobia of that. Like I was like,
Oh.
I don't like to watch that.
Okay, yeah, then you
You're like,
can't.
I
You
can't
wouldn't
breathe.
like The Abyss.
No.
Huh. Well, I'll add that to my list. I don't.
Trust me, add it to your list.
Okay.
It is kind of like it's a slow burn. But
I'm good with
with
that.
Been a long time.
I think you'll like it.
Seen it.
I used to watch
Listen,
the movie on repeat in the 7th grade for whatever reason.
Oh, okay. No, I'm down. It's just the fact that the largest creature on this planet lives in the ocean. It just does. It's just bigger than anything you could possibly imagine. It's just like do swimming around, and it's a I mean, it's not a I mean, it's not like a carnivore, like it eats meat. It like eats. It's a vegetarian.
It's
It's a pescatarian. It eats
plankton.
shrimp. Yeah,
Right.
like and enough to serve. Like, they're just so big. They're so big. Did you see the man that got swallowed by the humpback whale? The
Yeah.
Heard
kayaker?
about it.
No, Mike Jones. when I, I'm gonna send it to you. This man is
Jonah?
Recently, yeah.
Wait, I'm
re-
so did he make it? I know it's a very silly
yeah. He
question.
got
Yes,
no,
yeah.
he got spit back out.
Oh wow.
He's kayaking with his father. Ba da doo ba doo ba
It's
doo ba doo. A humpback whale goes whoop
like
back,
whoop. Won't.
eats him. And
Oh
then
my
Wow.
god.
the whale realizes, oh, this is not the food I want,
Right.
and spits him out. When I tell you, I was like, what would you have done? I said, I would fight, but then I hadn't seen it yet. And then I saw it. I said, oh, I'd be dead.
I'd be dead.
I'd be immediately dead. Like I'm swimming, looking at my dad. Hey, we're having a good time. And the next thing you know, I'm in a enclosed dark space with I'd be dead right there.
This
Sign
is
me up.
done.
I'm over. It spit me out. I'm this way. No,
Pinocchio's not coming for me. I'm done.
I've never in my life. And if it wasn't on video, no one would believe it. It's
Oh,
on
yeah.
video.
Wild. Oh my
A
god.
humpback whale.
So Lanita, seeing this when you have,
Yes.
where does this experience like fit in your Trek life? Like how are you filing this away? Like where does it fit in the larger scheme of your Trek self?
I cannot wait to finish this series and then watch all of them again.
Mm-hmm.
I like that having the I wish that I could have had these type of discussions on 1 through 3
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure. Right.
because it's really interesting and thought provoking and helping all of the extra questions in my head talking to people who have such a deep relationship with Star Trek in a different way than I do. Like you all coming to it from your youth and like growing up with it and going back to it and having a different type of fandom and having more research and time with it and ba 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 ba. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Oh yeah, there's that. Oh, I didn't know about that. And oh, that was the story. Oh, that's pretty cool. That would make sense. Like I am so excited at the end. I am
Well,
excited.
that is kind of I'm realizing because like shameless plug of our own selves here. I'm in the middle of listening to our Tasha Yar Armis episode with our friends Lee Ellen and Sunil from Too Proudly Go. And that difference in life experience of when you come to it and where you are in your life it just is night and day for like how you process all of this and what it means to you and how these characters impact you.
Right.
And which is, why I feel like our podcast is so great, you guys, because we have such varying perspectives on how and when we encountered this material.
I love that it was an 80s movie. And honestly, it was really like the CGI and all of that business. Yeah, a little hokey, but it was real.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
mean,
it didn't pull me out. I was like, oh, this was kind of good. Like make up a little, but that's par for
Also
the course.
watching like Space Dock, like them and that little shuttle going into Space Dock and like seeing all the ships parked inside and like
Yeah.
that was
I
like if
love the
I was
shuttles.
seeing that in 1986 in a movie theater, I would have been
Oh,
peeing
and,
my pants.
and the whole cone that basically looks like Deep Space Nine, but not because it doesn't have the ring, but it's like it's the beginning of like the cone. Is that Space Dock?
Space Dock.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh my God, it looks like the deck. So
Yeah.
anyway, seeing that in the distance and then like the electricity coming back because
Oh,
the
yeah.
ball has gone, like that was super cool. Like
Mhm.
watching all of the energy get put back into the places
Yeah.
that had been sucked from unintentionally. Like the whale saying, they don't mean any harm. We're still here. Don't suck. These are people. They need to live. And then it goes away. Oh, I'm so excited.
And also,
I'm
like,
just,
sorry,
that's all I got.
I just also want to point out that I didn't know this until recently when I was researching this for this episode. So there's footage of real whales at the end of the movie when they're in the ocean, but all of the whale footage in the ship and in the center and when he's swimming with them, those are all they constructed these giant whale things, these like
What?
animatronic whales.
Like Jaws?
And yeah, like Jaws. And they made them so that they move very realistically. It was so realistic that I don't know if it was PETA, some group
Yeah, it was
like
PETA.
Yeah.
protested them, and they're like, whoa, 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 no, those were puppets. Like,
You're lying
Right, and they
to
weren't even considered for
me.
any visual effects awards because because people didn't realize that it was
You're lying to
That's
me.
Yeah,
wild.
there's some
yeah,
behind the scenes like clips of those machines working. It's amazing.
yeah. Also, can I just say, can we go back to Star
Huh.
Trek Prodigy for a moment and the whale? Do you remember the whale's name? Do you remember the whale's name?
Gracie, right?
Jillian?
Oh,
Jillian.
Jillian from Dr.
Wow.
Jillian Taylor.
But do you see what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like this is what I'm saying. That when I do my completion of the things that came before the things that I'm currently watching, like all of the little jokey jokes and things, like it's like zoop. It's like, because yes, it was cute. I enjoyed the thing, but then there's like this deep cut that I missed because I hadn't watched this movie, and now it's like it is the one with the whales, and the whales are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whales are awesome. All of the what is exact change, like all the little quips, all the jokes. Is that a lot of money? Mm.
So good.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, he never got those glasses back. I just want to make that clear.
No.
Those glasses are gone forever. And when he said, "Didn't what is it, Bones? Didn't Dr. McCoy give those to you as a birthday gift?" He was
You
like,
will again.
And he will again. Time travel.
Temporal paradox, you guys.
Oh my god,
Wibbly
it's
wobbly.
just so good. Like I love that it closed the way it opened, in a way, like it. And I mean, not being all welcome, but it closed, in the Federation part of it after they get off the planet,
Mhm.
as it opened, and it didn't tie it in a bow. It like closed that door, or like closed that chapter, and it's like, okay, we're opening up into who knows what.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the runway is so bright. And I love the music. I did one thing I did not mention. I did love the opening sequence. I was like, here we go. Long ass opening sequence, but I enjoyed the fact that they told you who everybody was up top. They're like,
Yes.
here we go,
And
and
such
this
an
person.
upbeat, cheerful march, kind of.
Yeah.
We're
You
going.
It's
know,
We're
great.
going on an adventure.
another thing that's
Right.
worth pointing out is
Mhm.
that a pair of writers wrote the first draft, and then Harv Bennett, who's the producer of Star Trek's 2 through 6, like he's kind of responsible for the whole sort of movie universe that we know.
Okay.
Not Roddenberry's not a fan. Um, he wrote the bookends, and he's a fan of bookends. So he wrote the first act and the last act, and Nicholas Meyer, who
Yes.
directed Star Trek 2, wrote all of the 80s stuff.
Hmm.
So it's two different writers for the different sections of the movie. And then the other thing is
And
that they
that's
had the
why it's so
directive.
cohesive.
Yes, they had the directive that the through line, that everything in the movie had to go through Kirk. So you see these scenes
Mm.
that, like, so you watch the final scene of Sarek and Spock, it's through Kirk watching it.
No, Kirk is there watching. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of these,
Interesting.
so that every chance they got, so that Spock is the one that in the first act kind of like solves the puzzle of what's happening, and that the whales are in the past. He literally, and then it's Kirk who connects the. It's like, well, this is what we have to do. So
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm.
That, you know what? Maybe that is a good way to write a movie. That you
especially a
make.
movie like this that is so bookended by the structure
You,
of what the
Right.
story is.
yeah. Oh my God. My mind is blown.
And I think I have to say it, like, I think that for the most part, I mean, Uhura wasn't given enough. She's never given enough.
She's
Never.
never
Yeah.
given enough.
Mr.
But
Adventure is really the only thing that she ever did in the movies that is like
right,
gratifying that yeah.
which I
Mhm.
would have obviously loved to have seen more of. But with the exception of that, the characters each got something to
thing.
do.
Yeah.
Something.
Something to do. Some more than others. Yes.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Because some of the things were slightly more. I feel like everything was important to the task. Like everybody had their marching orders, and they had to figure it out. And they did. And it was grand. And they all came back together, and we defeated the ball and the torpedo. It was great. I mean, it looked like a submarine flying through space, is really what it looked like. So I was cool with that. It was like
I've
a
always thought it
can.
looked like a cigar.
Yep.
Really? I mean, I could go with
Oh
cigar,
my.
but I mean, it looked like an Izzy can.
I used
Like
to
a
think that it
nice.
looked like poop when I was a kid.
Sure.
That makes sense. Poop with a
Some
floating
perfectly
ball of poop.
cylindrical kind of poop, but sure, yeah.
Literally,
The dingleberry.
no, the whole. Oof, that's y'all's problem. Gross. And y'all, I mean the men folk. Mm. Nope. Mm-mm-mm. Can't blame that on the girls. Nope, nope, nope. Because we always
Wait,
like
I
it.
actually don't know where she's going right now.
Because I
Dingleberry.
said the
Oh.
ball was a dingleberry, and she's saying that that's a man
I
thing.
don't have
I don't think
dingleberries,
that's true.
Lanita.
Well, you're gay men, so no.
Right.
But straights,
We have bidets.
We do have
trash.
bidets.
Yes. I mean, listen, y'all are all about the
And
the
we
cleanness
douche.
of the. Yes,
Right.
exactly. The straights,
Oh my god.
I don't even want to think about it.
Oh.
it's
Yeah,
a terrible thing.
it's a
Okay, well,
terrible
that's a
thing.
way to end.
On that
So,
note.
That's a
okay,
way to
so,
end. Oh my god.
Oh my
so
god. Oh my
final
god.
rating.
I should tell I need to tell you that my straight brother installed a tushy in his toilet
Huh?
and then decided that he's like, so my butt is cleaner than yours. And I was like, I'm sorry. Like
How
like
dare.
I think that you thought that you opened a door that I'm gonna walk through, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna say that you're wrong and that your level of understanding of this is so inadequate that you cannot even comprehend how wrong you are.
I love it. I love it.
That
Oh
is
my God.
hilarious.
I give this movie an A minus.
Oh.
Points off for, of course, not using Nichelle Nichols as much as
Sure.
I would like.
Mhm.
And because even though the whale song, for me to know what it was not for me, I still, because I am a greedy person, want to know what the hell the probe was saying and what the goddamn whale said back to it to make it give everybody their energy back.
That's fair. I wonder if there's a novelization of this movie.
I'm sure there is.
I think there
I feel like I've read
is.
it.
I
I'm
wonder if
telling
it
you,
fills in anything.
I truly enjoy. I mean, I enjoyed this from start to finish, from
That's
start to
amazing.
finish, and was pissed when
great.
the app tried to put like another thing on. I was like, no, I'm watching the fucking end credits. Leave me alone.
Oh.
Like, I'm
Discouraged.
watching. I
That's amazing. Well, I hope that you, listener, have enjoyed this from start to end. Our rather long episode.
Because it's talking about a whole movie. You wanted
That
to
we
hear all
loved.
of the details because
Yes.
I never watched it. You wanted to see a novice, a not a novice,
You're
a
not a novice. That's
I'm
what's
no
making
no
this interesting.
Yeah.
no but a movie completist virgin. Watch the rest of the series.
Right. A Trekkie completing the completionism.
Exactly.
Well, Lanita, thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you for having me.
And Matt, thank you as always for joining us. Your first time as a co-host.
Thank
But
you.
not the
No, it's
last.
actually not. No, because he was a
Oh, that's right.
that Lanita's chair with dear
Oh.
Tyler Attico.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're
That's
right.
Yeah, no,
right.
he's our resident.
Stand in for me.
Yeah.
Our resident like Jay Leno subbing in for, of course. I couldn't think of a more contemporary reference than the Johnny Carson show. I'm sorry.
You could go with the Daily Show when
I could have, but I didn't.
but you didn't.
Anyway,
He's the Jeffrey Combs of our podcast.
That's a compliment.
that is high praise. Yes.
That's very high praise. So thank you.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you all have enjoyed listening today, make sure you give us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Tell all your friends about us, share us, check us out on YouTube or on all the socials at Hailing Freak Open or at hailingfrequenciesopen.com. And Matt, where can they find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky and Instagram and Threads on at MLJENN. You can also find me on Blue Sky and Threads and Instagram on at 1701 BLERD. That's for my web series.
Woohoo!
You.
If you haven't checked that out, make sure you do. It's great. And there's more coming, right? Like there's
Yes, there's more coming. So I very funny story that I'll try to keep very short. So I'll get to screen the web series at Trek Long Island.
Yes.
And when I was talking to Yvette of Sci-Fi Sisters, I was saying, it'd be really great if I had something a little extra to show. But this is when we were just, just shooting the shit, talking about, oh, this would be fun, this would be fun. And then sure enough, like a month later, it was like, oh, so you're gonna be having this, and you're gonna have something special to show. And I was like, oh, so I actually have to have something filmed. Okay, so
Chop,
Yeah,
chop.
right on top of that, Rose.
so yeah,
Motivation.
Yes, I filmed something a little cute on Saturday, and I'll have it ready for the convention.
Well, we can't wait.
You can't wait to see it.
Yay.
All right. Thank you all. And with that, I will say hailing frequencies closed.
No goodbyes. Just good memories. Hailing frequencies closed, sir.